Welcome to the Prove It Podcast, the only show that gives you real digital marketing strategies straight from the trenches. I'm your host, Christopher Ruiz, founder of Proven Management Consulting and creator of the Proven Plus platform, your all-in-one digital marketing command center. Today's episode is called From Ghost Town to Gold Mines, and we're diving directly into the exact lead generation strategies that transformed unknown businesses into 24/7 appointment booking machines. Whether you're a solopreneur, an agency owner, or running a small business trying to scale, this episode is packed with actionable steps and insights you can steal today. The biggest lie in digital marketing is if you build it, they will come. No, they won't. Not unless you build systems that will draw them in day and night automatically. The first segment for today is why most lead gen systems fail. Most businesses struggle not because they have a bad product, but because they don't have a predictable traffic to lead engine. They build websites like business cards. They're pretty, but they're passive. You need a conversion ecosystem, and that starts with strategic visibility. It's not just about being online, but being in front of the right people in the right places. Put a pin in this. It starts with your SEO keywords hitting naturally, and that's going to be found in your lead generation systems, in your digital marketing automations, in your marketing visibility, in your sales funnel optimizations, and your conversion tactics. A really strong, motivating tidbit that I learned from Gary Vee during this whole process is if you're not building awareness daily, you're building irrelevance. Now, let me take that and apply it to a client story that I have to share with you to show you exactly how optimizing your lead generation and conversion strategies will directly impact your bottom line. So one of my clients out in Austin, Texas, he was in the home services industry. I say was, but he currently still is, just doing different things within that vertical space. When he first started, he was having trouble finding quality leads. Converting them didn't really seem to be going anywhere anytime fast, and just the word of mouth wasn't spreading as fast as he needed it to. So he was stuck at a stalemate, trying to advertise across 5 different channels. Now, the problem is nothing was being tracked. The problem was that when he did track it, it was only coming from one of those channels. The rest of them was throwing dollars to the wind. He didn't know how to convert those clients into bookable appointments. And at the end of the day, a lot of those clients or those leads that were possible to be booked as appointments weren't really qualified leads. So what we ended up doing is redefining his digital marketing strategy. We tracked every link that was clicked on his website, funneled directly to a possible opportunity, and then showed and displayed that information directly to the client on his dashboard. That way he knew which channels were working out best. Whether he was getting lead generation from Google My Business or from Facebook or from Instagram, we were able to track every single one of those leads individually and show him where we needed to spend more money on ads. Now, if you're not building a reputation online, just like Gary Vee said, then you're not really building anything at all. The problem is that most individuals don't even know that you exist. So you have to spend money on content generation or on ad spend. That way you can take your business up another level in visibility and earn that trust. So once we found that predictable automation strategy for our client, we funneled all those leads and prospects into a survey where they pre-qualified themselves answering questions. Now, it doesn't have to be too in-depth. It could be pretty simple, but as long as they hit the marks for what it takes to be your avatar for that sale that needs to convert. Once those prospects are qualified, we automatically drive them to the calendar. That way they can book their own appointment on their own time, and they're not waiting for someone to reach out to them to book them on the calendar. Once that happens, they are also integrated into automation strategies where if they were to cancel, they can be automatically retargeted, or for promotions, for discounts, for referral offers as well. It's very important to ensure that all the dollars spent on advertising is having the maximum impact on your bottom line. With that being said, let's move right along to segment 2, which is the 3-part lead gen framework that works 24/7. So let's break down the Proven Plus lead engine. It's a system inside my agency that we use again and again. As I mentioned, it's a 3-part framework that anybody use and can apply to their own business. Now, part 1 is focused on having a lead magnet that solves a real problem. This isn't about checking off the boxes in your checklist. It's about having a gateway to building trust. You'll need to give away value that your competitors make people pay for. And something that Alex Hormozi said that sticks with me to this day is that you need to give more than you ask. That's how you build authority. So in other words, if your lead magnet isn't valuable enough to charge money for, then it's not strong enough to capture attention. Speaking about acquiring attention, there's something that Grant Cardone said that actually drives this point home. He says, speed to lead is everything. If you wait more than 5 minutes, your competition has already won. So once your prospective client clicks or enters the information for that call to action, don't just throw them into another thank you page. Add them to an automated CRM sequence that continues to educate them, build that trust, and nudge them along to the next step. I guarantee you that those prospective leads and those prospective clients will convert into more sales. If there's one thing that you should take away from part 2 of this framework is that the fortune is built in the follow-up, but only if the follow-up is automated, personalized, and fast. Keep that in mind as we move on to part 3 of the framework, which is retargeting and content layer. One thing that Seth Godin says about this, which is really simple but truly brilliant, is that people don't buy when you're ready to sell. They buy when they're ready to solve a problem. So in this part of the framework, what you're doing is you're using paid or organic retargeting to stay at the top of your clients' and prospects' mind. You want to deliver content that is consistent and matches your buyer's content. You also want to answer all questions that they possibly have before they even ask. So a pro tip for SEO is making sure that you can combine content marketing, conversion optimization, and client nurturing all inside of your copy. Don't waste any time. If you can abate any objections, do so before you get in front of the client. That way you're helping them along in the process and the conversion cycle that much faster. Now, here's a story that I have to share with you regarding this point of the framework. Now, if you find yourself going back and forth with a potential prospect, wasting time, sharing emails, conversing back and forth, where you don't have necessarily all the points where you need to prove in order to win that client, you are probably better off creating content, whether you pay someone for it or do it organically yourself, creating that VSL or that video sales letter where you can direct those prospects and clients within the sales funnel so that they can continue to be educated and more familiarized with your product and your services and your brand. See, now the average client, if they're not completely crazy or insane, they're not going to have an impulse buy where they buy directly from you immediately. They're going to want to do their research on you and make sure that they vet you and compare you to your competitors, right? So what you do is you add all that information, whether it be in long word format or in video. I recommend video personally. Add all that information into a video where they can collectively gather their thoughts and their information. Provide them with case studies, provide them with testimonials. Help them make a decision by solving their problems and answering their questions before they can make any objections. It'll make it much smoother, much easier, and you won't be spending a week's worth of time going back and forth in email or missing each other in phone calls and potentially losing that client to a competitor. Remember, if you wait more than 5 minutes, you've already lost that client to a competitor. So make sure you stay on top of your content by providing as much information up front. Again, that's how you become an authority in what it is that you're trying to sell. It's all about digital marketing framework, and it's that 3-part that you can take and steal and apply to your own agency, your own business, or your own partnership. So with that being said, let's move on to segment number 3, which is content is currency. So you might be asking yourself, what do I mean by that? Let me be clear. Your content is your visibility engine. The more content you put out, the more your leads and prospective clients have the capacity to trust you. And that doesn't mean that you have to burn yourself out. Take my platform, for example. With Proven Plus, we automate the postings, we repurpose long-form content into shorts, And we also schedule everything in a week in advance, every single week, every time. That way your content generation and your visibility engine is always on point, making it easier for you to focus on other things in your business when your digital marketing is built upon your CRM automations and retargeting and making sure your visibility and your content is the ultimate currency for you to progress and move forward faster than your competitors. Now, there's something very special that I think that you should hear me say. Content is not king. Consistent content is king. Scheduled content, that's an empire. Now, remember that client that we talked about back in Austin, Texas? Well, we put him on a scheduled content making machine. At first, we tested a few ads, a few pieces of content that we ran here and there for a week, for a few days. We started with 1, then we built up to 2, then 4, then 14, then 26, then 58. At the end of the month, where we had 58 pieces of content generating leads and bringing new leads, the cost of those leads, this is where I should inform you, be very transparent with you. The first part is we're spending $12 per lead with 1 or 2 pieces of advertising going on. And then we targeted new SEO keywords, and that built in more convertible leads, and our lead magnet grew even stronger. The content became more visible to parts of the audience that he was looking to target, and the potential leads that he lost, he was retargeting as well. What ended up happening is at the end of those 58 leads generated in that 1 month, what do you think his bottom line grew? How much revenue do you think that he added to his bottom line at the end of that month working with us once we started scheduling his content and his advertising? I'll give you a second to guess. Maybe I'll throw some numbers out there for you too as well. Do you think it was 3,000, 10,000, 15,000? No, we blew it out of the water. He increased his revenue for that month up to $91,000 prior to working with us, before he even started using scheduled content or generating content to pull in leads with a strong proposition and a strong lead magnet system that solved problems before potential clients can ask. The most he had ever done in 1 month was 13,000. And that increased to 91,000 for the month. That's a powerful way to make sure that your content is your visibility engine, staying at the top of the mind for all potential clients and leads that were lost in the past to retarget them. A lead loss doesn't mean that it's gone forever. It just gives you another opportunity to turn that no into a yes. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so that brings us to the last segment of today's episode, where we recap and wrap everything up to make sure that you got the most value out of today's episode. So, that being said, let's walk through what we discussed today. Step 1 is to make sure you build that valuable lead magnet. This is where you give as much value away for free and answer any probable questions that your leads or prospective clients may have before they even ask. Now, step 2 is making sure that you capture those leads automatically and putting them into a CRM workflow. Now, if you remember, once that lead gives you all that information, you don't want to just let it go to waste. Continue to educate them and nudge them along in the process so that you can convert them into a sale. And then we move on to step 3 in the process. Retarget and continue to nurture clients with consistent content. Remember, consistency is key here, and if you can schedule it, then you can build an empire. Make sure that you understand where your content is being placed, who it's being placed in front of, and what your return on your investment is, or on your advertising dollar spent. That way you're not just throwing money to the wind, and you're not losing leads, and you're not losing potential clients or existing clients to competition because you're not being consistent. It is how you remain at the top of the mind and remain visible. Don't forget that. And step 4 in this process is, once you have all these processes and procedures in place, automate it all so that your engine runs even when you sleep. If you can understand where your dollars are being spent, what consistent content is looking like in order for you to maintain visibility and stay at the top of the mind of your leads, then you have built an empire. Now, if you want all of this done for you and you don't want to worry about the stress of guessing or being overwhelmed with complicated tech, just go to provenmc.com/get started now. Once again, that is provenmc.com/get started now. We'll be happy to work with you or just do it completely for you. Either way, on that webpage, you'll find a short little VSL that'll show you and demonstrate just how automated systems with CRMs and lead generation magnets work to capture and build trust in your industry and make sure that your digital marketing is on the top of its game. So listeners, that's all I have for you today. But before I let you go, I'm going to impart one last nugget of wisdom for you to take home with you on your marketing endeavors. That bigger, badder ad budget means nothing unless you have a smarter engine. Now, thanks again for tuning into the Prove It podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, leave us a 5-star rating, and share this with someone who's ready to turn their digital presence into a lead gen machine. Until next time, keep building, keep scaling, and keep showing up.